Scotty Too Hotty.
Yep.
Welcome to the program, 1054 Magazine. Very, very blessed to have you, man. I'm
Thank you for having me, dude.
very excited. We'll get right into it. So, how'd you grow up?
In what terms?
In terms of, were you into trouble? Were you out of trouble? You know what I mean?
I was into trouble.
Into trouble? Okay.
For sure.
For sure.
I don't know. I was born in Vegas. We moved to Santa Maria on my second birthday, so I don't have much time there. I went there to visit for some summers and stuff, but in terms of if I was a good or bad kid, I would say bad. I don't know. I started like doing shit that I knew I wasn't supposed to at a really young age, like smoking weed, fucking drinking, shit like that. I don't know, I got in a lot of trouble, basically.
Okay.
I was grounded for most of my young teen year, preteen years.
For sure. During that time, what'd you find yourself occupying your time
Music.
with? Music.
It was
okay.
music fully, and graffiti. I did a lot of art, mainly music though.
Okay.
I picked up guitar before I picked up drums, and yeah, I would just in my room. That's the only thing I could really do for a while, because I couldn't have a phone, I couldn't watch TV or nothing, because I was always fucking grounded, and yeah,
For sure.
I just started.
Who put that that instrument in front of you?
It was actually my neighbor when I think I was 9, and I was living out in Orchid. I lived on a cul-de-sac called Mountain View with my mom, and our across the street neighbor, he noticed I took a liking to rock music. I used to love Linkin Park when I was a kid and stuff, and I'd wear the shirts and shit. And he was like, "Oh, I love that band. I have this old guitar. It was a silver electric. I don't remember the brand, but it was like a silver paint job, and I thought it was the coolest shit." Fucking, and yeah, no, he gave it to me for free, and then I just went home and I didn't touch the thing for fucking years. I'm gonna be honest, dude. Like, I don't know. I just, for a while, it was like, oh, this cool thing. I have a guitar. Like, I could play a couple little chords and stuff. And then when I got a little bit older, like 11, 12, 13 is when I really started taking a liking to, like, okay, I want to learn this thing. I want to take the time to cover some songs, fucking all that stuff.
For sure.
And,
so between that time from, let's say, 11, at what point did it start to escalate to creating your own music?
I think just listening to more stuff. And I don't know. This is a big thing, is I feel like I became sentient a bit after other people say they did. You know, like the whole thing of like, when you suddenly reach sentience at like 5 years old or some shit. I feel like I didn't reach sentience until I was like 10, like type of thing. Like I really, my earliest memories are me just, I don't know, I was like 10, 11, 12, and fucking, I feel like that's really where my brain began working. Like, I was fucking, for my first few years of my life, I feel like I wasn't there, like fucking. But when I reached sentience, quote unquote, fucking, it was like, I don't know, a personality hit me all of a sudden, and I was like, I want to do this, I want to do this. I wanted to skateboard really bad, and I did when I was really young, and then stopped for a while, and then picked that up again later in life. But it was the same thing with music, where just what didn't really interest me, I didn't really have much of a brain.
Yeah, I get you. But then it caught on, and you were able to attach an amount of your identity into that thing,
Exactly.
which led it to be more gratifying.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know where I was going.
No, yeah. So circling back to growing up, you say you're rambunctious, let's say.
For sure.
Outside of, well, obviously music was what you're occupying your time with. That when you weren't being rambunctious, you said you were into graffiti and skateboarding. Skateboarding didn't come though until you were about 10, 12, that sentient age, let's say, because that's how I met you.
Yeah, it
was through skateboarding.
Through the croak days.
Yeah, for sure. How do you feel like that affected your life in terms of growing up more in the streets as opposed to in your house?
I don't know. I think it was good for me in a lot of ways, bad in some, because bad for the reason that I was out there because shit was bad at home. You know what I mean? Like, I was, I don't know, sneaking out late at night to go do graffiti and like escape, kind of be by myself and just get to doodle some shit on a wall.
For sure.
Fucking skateboarding though, played a huge part in my development for sure. Like that's how I met so many of my friends that like in my formative years that really helped me become the person I am today. Like, and you know a lot of them. It's you know Alexis, fucking Ruben. It was Justin, you, Angel, but I don't know, those people, even though I'm not in contact with a lot of them anymore, like helped me become who I am today.
Yeah,
for sure.
Stepping stone, for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know. On that coin, I constantly find myself like acting like them or saying something they would say, and then I'll catch it and be like, "That's fucking weird." Like, I don't know. The whole analogy of like you are a mosaic of everybody you've ever known. Like, everybody you've ever known, loved, and everything is within you. And I specifically that group of friends that like I met you through.
Yeah.
I constantly find myself being like, I don't know, going back to that and being like,
for sure.
I'm still the same.
I definitely agree with you. I think that those formative years are very, very impactful, and in a way, like you said, defined who I was. I think what's peculiar about that is a lot of people want to, like, for example, you saying that you've lived a rambunctious lifestyle.
Yeah.
How you said that you didn't necessarily need to find yourself.
Yeah. Coming
from someone who lives in Orchid, I'm sure a lot of people from Santa Maria were like, "Oh, why is this kid getting into shit that he doesn't necessarily get into?" You know what I mean?
1,000,000%, yeah.
What is your perspective on that in terms of kids who are in a similar position to you?
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough because on one hand I agree with them. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, what the fuck was I doing out there? But on the other corner, I don't know. I don't know what I would have been doing. Like, in all honesty, and I'm glad that I didn't grow up trying to please people that were more in my area, because those people that are more in my area are, I don't want to say not good people, but like, because I'm sure they're good people, but they're not what I'd want to hang out with, I guess. And I don't know, some people like hurting women and shit like that I used to hang out with before I met all you guys, and I don't know. But again, I'm glad that I did end up going out there, and to, like you said about what I would say to anybody in my position is just kind of trust your gut. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing back then, and I think I'm pretty fine right now. Like, to anyone that is living in, say, Orchid, for example, because that's me, and you find yourself going out to places like Santa Maria, Lompoc, Slow, or anything like that, I don't know, just, I don't know. It's hard to put it into words, but kind of trust your gut a bit. Like, I don't know, if that's what you want to do it.
Yeah, I feel you. God put you there for a reason.
Exactly,
kind of
yeah.
For sure.
And
so segueing, you pick up a guitar. At what point do you get into drumming? Because that kind of seems to be like your bread and butter right now, what you're known for.
Yeah. I got into drumming through school.
Okay.
So drumline stuff.
Okay.
When and I had a little drum kit when I was younger. But when I got to junior high, like playing with the snare drum and stuff was what really got me into drumming and wanted me to get behind a drum kit. And then my dad bought me a drum kit from Facebook Marketplace. It was pretty nice, and I ended up selling that to a friend at some point. So I got 2 drum kits right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned your dad. So your dad was pretty involved in the punk scene, in the local punk scene here?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
It was in Orchid, yeah.
Okay. Did that kind of, in a way, motivate you to, I guess, follow in his footsteps, let's say?
Oh, yeah, 1,000,000%. He always told me stories, like, when I was a kid, of, like, his days playing shows and stuff, and that it was like, super rowdy. Like, I won't get into too much of it, but it was way more intense than anything that's going on in the scene right now. I'm happy for that, but, like, I remember as a kid, a young dumb kid, just thinking, that's so cool. Like, all these stories of, I don't know, getting into trouble. I'll tell one was, he told me about how they stuffed a dummy, like a bunch of clothes and a shirt, pants, and a little mask. They stuffed it full of cow shit, and they threw it out into the pit during a show, and people started they see a dummy, they're gonna start beating the shit out of it, tearing it apart. It was full of cow shit. And I have a photo of that, actually. But again, he sent me that. He sent me a lot of old photos from his youth and go
What
shows
the
and
fuck?
stuff. I'm like, you don't see anything like
Yeah,
that
no,
nowadays.
that's punk.
Like,
That's punk.
That
That's
is punk as fuck.
That's fucking punk right there.
And yeah, he was in a few bands. He was in his big one that he was the vocalist of was called APB, and it could stand for anything. It could be American Pabst Brewing, or he said at one point it was like African Pygmy Ballsack. Fucking, it could be anything. And then his big band that he was in though that got a lot of attention was called ISW, aka In Spite of the World, and he was on bass for that. For the later half of the band, because they had an original bassist at one point, and then he picked it up. But I don't know. Those were his two big bands.
For sure. That's super cool. That's super cool. You're coming from a lineage of punk, let's say.
Oh yeah.
So you're drumming. How long does it take you to get to the point where you're starting to incorporate yourself into the local scene?
It took a while. I was about 14 when I met Palomito. Don't talk to him anymore, of course, for obvious reasons, but he played guitar and bass at the time, and he asked me, because we went to high school together, he was a few years older than me, he was like, hey, if you ever want to come drum for my band, because I've seen you drumming with the drum line and stuff. And I was like, maybe. And then I didn't really take it seriously, and then COVID hit, and I was like, I got nothing to do, like, might as well start up a band. So I was about 14, like going on 15. Going on 15 was when the whole band fell apart specifically, but yeah, I was 14.
Oh, okay. So Gorth,
Yeah.
to give context, that the band he's in reference to is Gorth.
Yeah.
That was your first introduction into the scene.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Again, to give context to the viewer, Gorth was the band that performed at the Croak Jam, and that I didn't know that. I thought that you were already really established in that scene. I didn't know that was not necessarily like that was your first cumulative venture, let's say, between three different people on a piece of music, which I thought it was great. It was very different, incorporating it had an amount of sublime feel with the way that it fused
1,000,000%.
reggae and punk into it. It was very it was different. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So how did that situation kind of affect you? Because I know after the Croak Jam, there was there's no easy way to word this. I don't want to belittle anything by any capacity. You know what I mean? It was a situation that definitely needed to be announced.
Yeah.
Something happens with the guy named Paul.
Yep.
And that kind of trickles down to not only the whole band being kind of canceled, but you as another person being canceled for things that aren't necessarily, let's say, on the same level. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
How did that affect you going through that?
Affected me pretty bad, not gonna lie. I don't know. It was directly post-COVID. It was like when we were going back to school and stuff. I'd met a lot of new friends at I started going to Delta was the thing, and when I was going to Delta, I had met a good amount of friends that I was cool with during Gorth. When the breakup happened, all my friends wanted nothing to do with me, and they were I don't know, mainly because of what you said, how it trickled down to me. People started calling me racist. They started saying I was ableist because of my username on Instagram. Like, yeah,
just picking at straws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The biggest thing to me, I don't want to say red flag, but once I saw it was just like, I don't want to say it was going too far.
Yeah.
You guys had a project called Santa Muerte coming out, and they started calling you guys cultural appropriators because of that, which I think is ironic given the fact that a lot of the people who embody the punk scene are culturally appropriating that culture, because not a lot of them are actually punk. You know what I mean? They're let's say goth. You know.
Yeah.
It's like that South Park,
real.
like vampire versus goth kids, you know, like
Yeah.
they look the same, but there's a different kind of embodiment to it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's all about culture, history. And a lot of the new people don't understand it at all. I won't get too into it because, I don't know, got some gripes with individuals in particular, not the whole movement. But yeah, to get back into how it affected me, it was pretty bad. Like, I don't know. People were messaging me, like threatening me and stuff on alternative accounts. Like, they were making faceless accounts to send death threats to me and stuff. And I don't know. It got pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, it was, looking back on it, at the time I was like, oh, I'm a terrible person. Looking back on it, it was like, what the fuck was going on with these people in their lives to where they felt the need to go out of their way to make new accounts and message me saying they were gonna, like, kill me, sending me my address and shit. What's up with that? Like, looking back on it, it's kind of, like, hilarious almost, where it's like, I don't know. I was like a 14-year-old fucking who, I don't know, I'm not going to say never did anything wrong, because I have done some wrong in my life, of course, but in those specific instances, like the Santa Muerte thing, was like, that wasn't my decision. And I don't even think it's a bad thing, to be fair. Like, if I were to do that again in the future,
I think if you were to do that now today, no one would say anything, you know what I mean? But given the ecosystem at the time, it was so hostile, you know what I mean? And looking, it was a feeding frenzy, you know what I mean? They were just looking for the next person. And again, what's so weird about this is that point in time, there are some real things that really got pushed, but there were so many other things that got pushed that were nothing. So it kind of in a way diluted the let's say audience attention towards what, you know what I mean, needed to really be pressed upon.
And yeah, no, I agree. Like, there was some people getting called out at the time that 1,000,000% deserved to be called out. And I don't know, it's hard to say it a bit, like, especially publicly being the camera here, but I don't think I did anything wrong.
And I agree with you.
Like, for the things I was called out for, like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're 14.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm sure people watching probably said way crazier shit when they were 14, doing way, you know what I mean, gnarlier shit or whatever.
And, like, I don't know, because a big part of it was people were saying, oh, Scotty says the N-word, all this stuff. You know, at the time I was like, I don't say it, but when I was around 12, like, I said it a good amount, to be honest, being like a little kid fucking.
Yeah, every little kid did that on Call of Duty or, you know what I mean, XYZ. Like, I don't know. Again, grasping for straws. And I don't want to, this will kind of be like my parting words on this, because I don't want to really delve too heavy, because while it is important to discuss this, I don't think that alone is a very big description of who you are or what you're about, or you know what I mean, etc. You know what I mean? It definitely was something though that made you grow. So going forward from that, how did you kind of deal with that? You know what I mean? When in a sense reality is telling you a way of how you should feel, how did you articulate yourself and move? You know what I mean?
I don't really know. It was hard, and that's a big thing. I feel like I'm still figuring it out, kind of thing. Like, there's still people that don't like me from that time. I don't know. I kind of just trust my gut. I mentioned that earlier, trusting your gut, but, like, I don't know. I pray for the best. I never really fully got over that, not gonna lie. Like, it was one of the hardest times in my life. I wouldn't say the hardest by any means, but the most recently really hard point in my life was all of that.
Yeah, for sure. So coming from that, it seems like the phoenix out of the ashes was Garfield.
Yeah.
That was kind of the Gorth reborn. It had a way different flavor, I think, definitely, you know what I mean? But it was your first venture into getting things on Spotify, really prioritizing better recordings, you know what I mean? And layering things in a way that made it sound real cohesive and nice, as opposed to a garage demo or something like that. What was that like, stepping out of something old and stepping into something new?
It was great, I will say. I miss it a lot. I miss Garfield. Those songs were some of the, like, best times I've had making music, by far. I don't know. I don't know. It was definitely important for me, like, to start that project directly coming out of Gorth. It only took me like 3 months to get it all together, because that was something I could sink my time into and not be so sad about.
Yeah, for sure. So you were the one kind of pioneering Garfield? Okay.
Definitely.
For sure. And that was with Paul Goforth and Jacob, that was his name, right? Jacob Goforth? Yep.
Jacob Goforth.
For sure.
I still see Jacob quite regularly. He was just over here last night.
Oh, yeah, nice. Oh, yeah.
But reason the band broke up, Paul Goforth moved to Oklahoma.
Oh, dang, really? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
somewhere over there. He's
sure.
doing his thing. He's still doing good though. I talked to him the other day as
Nice.
well. We
Okay.
play some Fortnite every now and then, which is
That's
nice.
what's up. That's what's up. For
Yeah.
sure, for sure. So that first EP that came out, it was 3 songs, right? Burn Abyss, Come On People, Let's Party, Pookie Pipe.
Yeah, I think 4.
4 of them. What was the fourth one that I'm forgetting?
Barrage.
Barrage. Yes. Okay,
Which-
for sure.
The original name for that was meant to be Piss Bottle Barrage. It was like an inside joke sort of thing, but we decided to just call it Barrage because that's a bit too far.
For sure. Well, how did that feel? Getting your first project out on Spotify?
Oh, it was amazing. I chased that high every day of my life, dude. I can't wait to get stuff out on Spotify again because, I don't know. Doing Garfield, that was my first introduction to that specifically. Streaming platforms, playing big shows where people actually cared about us and stuff. There's still people that'll message the Garfield Instagram account to this day and be like, hey, I just found you guys. Like, you guys are awesome. Makes me incredibly happy.
That's sick.
Yeah, out of all my projects that I've worked on, that's in my top 2. For sure.
I feel like it was the first time. Gorth was an attempt at having that real professional, unified front of a complete product, but I feel like Garfield, he really capitalized upon that and made it. When I saw Garfield as someone who consumes the music, it was like, oh, they're taking it to that next. They're really certifying themselves, and they're not like, this isn't just something that we're putting it together, but we're really trying to structure this in a way where this can scale. You know what I mean? And we can make this something. It was a venture into business. Let's say, you know what I mean? And making the music into business. So, from Garfield, when do you step into working with Callback? Because I feel like that's kind of a similar avenue, similar facet, at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, so I met Sebastian. He's the co-founder of Callback Booking. I met him through another band that we had for a bit that we didn't really end up doing anything with. It was kind of like an experiment of sorts, see if we wanted to do anything, and we didn't. But yeah, I met Sebastian through that band. He was the guitarist, and we clicked like instantly. We were like, I don't know, we became very close friends, very short time, and yeah, he booked a couple shows for me. So one of my bands, Step Up, played a show with him back in, I think, 2025. It was like March. It's like about a year ago. And yeah, no, so I hit him up one day and I was like, hey, I used to book some shows with, I booked a couple for Tippy House and stuff. And I was like, do you want to maybe get into booking like some bigger bands? And he was like, yeah, totally. So we met up at Raising Cane's. We got some food. And then I remember we were just going over names for like a couple hours, being like, I remember it was almost Throwback was almost the name, was Throwback instead of Callback. And I was the one like practically begging for that name. I was like, Throwback works so perfect. And then he suggested Callback. And I was like, all right, like I'll settle for it. I'll settle for Callback. But now I'm like, that's like the perfect name. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
And I haven't been working with Callback too heavily anymore. I've been pretty busy. But I make all the flyers for them.
I was going to mention that. Yeah, for sure.
Make all the flyers. I've done a couple interviews.
I saw that with Knuckle Sandwich. What was the other one?
What's up?
What was the other one? You said a couple? 'Cause
Yeah.
I saw the one with Knuckle Sandwich.
It was, funnily enough, it was these folks right here.
Oh, yeah?
It was Blueprint before I had joined the band. And I never uploaded that one because it was my first ever interview, and I was shaking the whole time. I was in frame, and I was shaking so bad. Like
Hey,
this.
those nerves, he kind of hits you a little
Yeah.
bit. I'm the same
sure
way,
you
for
know,
sure.
I'm
I'm the
sure
same
you know.
way, yeah, for sure, when you're starting out.
Yeah, I'm nervous right now, even just being in front of it.
Man, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I think that it's cool to know these figures that are behind that, because from my perception, I didn't know. I thought you were one of the. I mean, you were a part of it, but I thought you were running Callback. Like that was like your thing. You know what I mean?
I was for a bit.
For sure. Okay.
I kind of handed it off Like, of course, it started with just us. I was really into it for the first couple months, and then started doing other things. I started more bands and stuff, and I'm gonna be honest, dude. I get tired of stuff fast. Like, I don't know what it is. It's a part of my personality for some reason. Like, I'll start something, start a project of some sort, and then whenever I feel like I'm burnt out, I just give it up.
Yeah, step away from it. I get what you mean.
And yeah, step away is a better word than giving up, I guess.
Yeah, because then you can always come back to it.
Exactly. And with Callback, I come back quite regularly. I still make all the flyers. I've booked a couple bands out of there. I booked one full show by myself, and then sadly it fell through, which was so sad. And then we had another show fall through at the beginning, and that was the Near Death show. With that was a thing. I totally forgot about that. You were supposed to play that.
I totally forgot about that. Wow. Yeah, Harmony Haven. Rest in peace, Harmony Haven.
Rest in peace.
Wow, that's interesting. So how did you get into that realm? Because that's such a different avenue comparative to playing music. Being the middleman between venues and performances, let's say. You know what I mean? What's that like?
It's pretty nice. I like it. I don't have to do much, which is, I'm a lazy bastard. Fucking, it's nice not having to do much, but I don't know. The way that it started was kind of me being a little hard on myself, being like, I'm never gonna make it doing this music stuff. Like, I'm just gonna book bands or I'm gonna record bands. Like, I was like, what are other avenues that I can get into
and still be involved?
Still be involved in 100%. Music, but not making it.
That's why I became a filmer in skateboarding.
Okay.
Because it was just like I can't throw myself downstairs forever. So I can film people forever, though. You know what I mean? So
that boneless 180, though.
That was my trademark. That was my trademark.
That was fire.
That's fucking funny. No, but that's a very important thing, I think, for young artists, is that you don't have to. Sometimes, honestly, not everyone's meant for the limelight, but sometimes your avenue to the limelight might be through the shadows. Let's say, you know what I mean?
For sure.
How do you feel like that affected your perception in terms of maneuvering yourself as a individual in the music scene? Let's say,
like the callback stuff specifically.
Yeah, seeing both sides of the mirror. Yeah. Seeing the people who are the middlemen between the connection of the venues and the performances, and being someone who is the performer. You know what I mean?
All I can say, I'm gonna speak directly to the camera for this. If you're in a band, please respect your promoter. I have had too many bands that we've booked be so disrespectful for no reason. And I was doing things when I started playing in bands that I didn't even know was disrespectful till I started booking, and then I was like, oh, all these motherfuckers are so hard to work with. Mm-hmm. Like, they'll disappear.
Yep.
Specifically. We're trying to do sound checks and stuff, and they're just gone for like hours. Fucking, and I don't know. If you are in a band, please listen to the texts in your group chat talking about the details leading up to the show, what time you're supposed to be there, all that stuff. Because, man, it is hard to work with y'all.
You know, that's funny because you think that'd be self-explanatory.
Yeah,
you
would think so.
Self-explanatory.
But trust me, I've been there. I've been the band that has been so annoying to the bookers a million times. Like, I don't know. And I don't know. It's refreshing going into booking because like you said, being on the outside looking in, it's weird. Like seeing bands.
And I bet that it gives you an amount of, let's say, perceptional step up. You kind of understand, okay, like, I'm not, in a way, it takes you out of the game and allows you to observe it as opposed to being a part of it. You know what I mean? Which, it gives you different perception. You know what I mean? It definitely gives you perception. It gives you perception in terms of, like you were saying, how you would, when you get booked down the line, how you're going to act to that booker because you have that, you know what I mean? An amount of empathy for that type of thing. You've been there. You've lived it.
That's the main thing, for sure, is understanding how it feels to be the one booking it, and then looking back on instances and being like, oh, I understand why this person who booked us was mad at us this one time. Like, I don't know, that insight.
So the Santa Maria scene as a whole, I think comparative to where it was 3 years ago to now, I think I'm not as tapped into it as you are, but it seems in a way the Santa Maria presence has died down and it's taken another home in different cities like San Luis Obispo, Atascadero. Rest in peace,
1,000,000%.
Dark Nectar.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, that place. That was very
Rest in
sad
peace,
to
Dark
hear
Nectar,
that.
dude.
Why do you feel like that is?
The main issue is just venues. It's nobody wants to host a hardcore show or a punk show, anything like that. Like, I've asked a lot of businesses. All of them are kind of just flat nose. Like, I don't know. I've had a couple places have been like semi-willing, but then I'll explain, like, there's going to be people moshing, all this stuff, and they're like, no. And, I don't know. That's the main issue, is finding a spot to do it at, because the community's still there. I would say it's like bigger, stronger than ever, honestly. Like, a couple Santa Maria shows that have happened in the past like year have been like house shows, and the turnout for those has been great. Like, there's been like 100 people fucking pulling up just in a backyard and shit, and like, I don't know, Santa Maria is yearning, I feel like, for a spot where shows can happen consistently, all that stuff. But right now it's hard to find that place. Like, nobody wants to allow hardcore bands to play there because they know it can get like rowdy.
Yeah. Or there can be questionable characters who get involved in some kind of capacity. Or,
exactly,
for sure. Because I know BC Centro was doing that for a while.
Yeah.
That was where the first Croak Pop was a BC Centro.
Really?
Yeah, it was a BC Centro show. That's well, the only one that we had I forget how that happened. I think they reached out to us. I don't remember.
That was
it was like girls. It's something girls
that.
Like that. I don't remember what the group was, but shout out them. They put us on.
Shout out BC.
That was dope.
I was actually just talking to them recently, trying to throw a show at their spot. They said maybe in June or July.
Do you know why they don't put on shows anymore?
I don't. Yeah, I think it was COVID. They that's all I know is that they started struggling financially around the COVID time. But right now, I hit them up, or not right now, a few days ago, hit them up being like, hey, like, can we throw a show at your spot? And the owner is on paternity leave right now, so he's taking care of his baby. Yeah. And then he was like, maybe sometime June or July. Yeah, so I'm praying.
For sure. It'll culminate.
That's gonna happen.
It'll culminate.
Yeah.
How do you feel like places like Slow and Atascadero are taking care of the scene? You know what I mean? Because I see a lot of places like Humdinger.
Yeah.
There's a million of them. The arcade place on Higuera Street. I don't remember what the fuck it's called. AB Start or some shit like that.
Yeah. I've never been there.
Do you feel like it's been able to prosper there, or do you feel like in a way it's been bottlenecked because the Santa Maria scene isn't really able to make it out there in a way?
It's kind of like half and half.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. There's a good scene out there, I will say. The people that are out in San Luis Obispo or Atascadero, they're all good people. They'll mosh hard. Like, I don't know. The energy out there is great, but it is bottlenecked a little bit, I would say. Like, there's a lot of people from Santa Maria that can't go over there. They're like, either they work, they don't have a car, like, and I don't know. I feel like the real heart of the local hardcore scene is Santa Maria. And when you go to Slow, it's still great, but it's like, it's not the same.
Interesting. So would you say that the primary demographic of people who embody, let's say, the attendance of those shows come from Santa Maria as opposed to a place like San Luis Obispo?
1,000,000%.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy, like people trekking all the way out there.
Yeah, for sure. And furthermore, that those cities don't have a natural demographic for that. You know what I mean?
Not really.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
It's a lot of the people out there. They still go to shows, but it's like indie shows, and there's some emo bands out in Slow that I really like. Actually, shout out Wherever You Are. Shout out Kangaroo. Fear So Frail is great as well. But they have a scene out there. It's just not a hardcore scene, you know. And people don't really appreciate hardcore music.
Yeah, the rowdiness of it. I get what you mean.
In fact, they don't like it. Like, I'd say.
I think that's very interesting as well, because I feel like Santa Maria, the reason it prospers here is because it's the, let's say, economic status is a lot lower. You know what I mean? So maybe that let's say the hood welcomes it in a type of way. You know what I mean? Which is weird. Which is very weird. You know? I always wondered that. Very, very peculiar. So coming off a Callback, you're getting involved in different bands. The three you're involved in right now, Table for Two, Take Initiative, and Blueprint. Were there bands in between getting to those, or?
Oh, yeah. I was in an emo band for a bit. It was called Your Lips First Mine. I don't know what that was. Yeah, I was in an emo band called Your Lips First Mine. Something ended up happening with the vocalist girlfriend, and the band had to break up, sadly, because I liked the music. But yeah, I was in Your Lips First Mine. I was in a band called Step Up for a bit that was from Santa Barbara. So I was traveling out to Santa Barbara to play with this band, and that's actually how I met my my girlfriend Allie, was through Step Up. She was the guitarist of that band.
Oh, tough.
Yeah, and every band that I'm in right now, Allie is the guitarist. So Blueprint, she just joined on guitar. Table for Two, she's the guitarist. Take Initiative, she's the guitarist. So like that relationship has been very important to me in terms of like, I don't know, we are best friends through and through. Like everything we do together, we do, like, or not everything we do together, everything we do together. I don't know, we make a lot of music. Mainly we'll sit there in bed for hours and just noodle around on guitar until we make something cool.
Okay, for sure. So in a way, she's pushing that musical narrative for you. You know what I mean? That's awesome. That's beautiful.
And I don't know, we both inspire each other constantly.
For sure.
And I don't know, it's beautiful.
For sure. So Step Up in Santa Barbara, at least the way I perceive that band, that band seemed to be pretty big, pretty well established. It
got some attention.
What did that do for your stature in the community? Do you feel like that kind of cemented you as, let's say, a bigger player?
I'd hope so. I haven't gotten to hear too many people's opinions about that, but yeah, we got some attention for sure, like a good amount. I'd say the main thing that made me be like, okay, this band is getting pretty big, is we played out of town in Isla Vista, and right off the bat when we started, people were so excited to see us, to the point where people just started jumping off the roof of this house.
That's
dude.
crazy.
And fucking, it was cool. Like, people got rowdier than I've ever seen. Like,
the Isla Vista, that's Party Island. You know what I mean?
No,
that's
dude,
all college kids and shit.
All fucked up, fucking drinking. They were, it was a Palestine benefit show too.
Oh yeah,
so
people were getting lit.
Yeah, people were getting lit, and it was cool because at the door we were just standing there with our Venmo out, being like $5 to Palestine, dude, and fucking everybody was so like, everybody out there was so like, fuck yeah, like, I don't know. They were all very down for the cause and for the music as well.
Yeah.
Like, very down for the music.
Well, that's what real punk is. Punk is political. You know what I mean? In some kind of capacity.
1,000,000%,
sure.
yeah. Again, and that's one of my favorite parts about punk altogether. Like,
yeah, for sure. Standing for something.
Standing for something.
So Step Up, that leads into Take Initiative, or?
Yeah. So Step Up is where I met Allie, my girlfriend, and through that we created Take Initiative. Just when Step Up broke up, we were like, we have all these songs that we never got to release for Step Up, so why don't we make a new project? And originally I was on drums for that project, and then we just worked out the songs a lot, and we had another drummer come in for a while because I wanted to do vocals. And then that drummer ended up quitting. And so we had a show coming up. It was our first show. And I hit up J Dell from No Warning Shots. He was in a band called Moose for a while. I hit him up very last minute, like 2 days before the show, being like, is there any way you could possibly fill in for this one show? Like, I'll send you all the tracks. And then he was like so down. He was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, I love these songs. Like,
damn, so you learned them 2 days prior to the show. That's
like,
crazy.
Fast as fuck. And then like, after we played the show, at some point I was like, do you want to join the band full time? Like, of course I'm not like dead set on it or anything, but if you're down, like, we really loved how you played drums. And he was like so down. Like, he was very enthusiastic. I don't know. And yeah, no, he's like, us three are like the heart of the band, like where it like really began. And then Sebastian is on second guitar, Jackie is on bass, and Seb and Jackie are some of my best friends in the world, and really this band is like a homie band.
Sebastian from Callback?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
And
I love how it's all tied together.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
I love how
It's-
intermingled it is.
Take Initiative in specific is my favorite band I've ever been a part of because everybody in this band is like a good friend of mine that I like trust. I don't know, and there's been a lot of other bands where it's somebody that I'm meeting for the first time, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But Garfield and Take Initiative are my two that are at the top because those are the ones where it's like my fucking brothers.
Yeah. Hey,
Like,
close to your heart. Close
yeah,
to your heart, for sure. Your
exactly.
baby, 100%. So, what comes first, Table for Two or Blueprint?
Table for Two came first.
Okay, for sure. Table for Two has a lot different of a sound. I really like
Yeah.
your cymbal work. That's another thing about
Thank you.
your drumming style, especially when I feel like you guys were doing Garfield.
Yeah.
Burn Abyss is a really good example of really just beautiful cymbal work. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
thank you so
Keeping an
much.
insane amount of tempo.
I try very hard on that. So thank you.
For sure. What's who's in Table for Two?
That's just me and Allie.
Okay.
Um,
I.e.
that-
Table for Two. I
yeah.
get what you mean, for sure.
it's sort of a solo project though. So I write everything. So I do the guitar, the drums, the vocals. But Allie is like just there to play my parts, kind of thing, which is very nice because I've been looking for a solo project for a while, something I can sync all my little ideas
Yeah.
that just pop into my head randomly because that happens constantly. I'll get little ideas for riffs all the fucking time, and I have to just sit down and try to figure out how to actually play it. And yeah, Table for Two is my outlet for that, where I can just come up with something, write it on guitar, and then sometimes with a couple riffs, I'm not even able to play them on guitar. I could like sound it out in my head, and I can play parts of it on guitar, and then I'll show Allie, and I'll be like, "Please play
She'll
this
flesh it
for
out.
me," like, cause she's very good at guitar. She can play like anything you show her within like 2 seconds, like, and yeah, so I'll sound something out for her, or I'll play the chords on guitar like super separate. I'll be like, it's this chord into this one, and then she'll play it for me. So that's been great because I don't know, she has allowed me to express a lot of my ideas.
Yeah.
on the
And
guitar.
furthermore, it's important to have someone who can fundamentalize your ideas. You know, take it from metaphysical to physical.
straight
Yeah,
up, because
100%.
I'm not very good at guitar.
Yeah. Well, and furthermore, music is relatively all metaphysical until
Yeah.
it's. I mean, I guess everything is, but you know what I mean. It takes a special type of love for it to be able to sound it out in your head and then understand
Yes.
how to make that sound in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
the,
sure, for
the putting it like I don't know, transferring the brain to the guitar is
Yeah.
very difficult.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, and
For
I
sure, for
can't
sure.
do it very well.
Okay, for sure.
But, yeah.
So then Blueprint comes after that.
Yeah.
I imagine you joined Blueprint prior or after you interview them.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to join it after you interviewed them?
It was the interview was November 1st, right? Yeah, November 1st though, right? Okay. I got it mixed up. Yeah, there was another show November 1st. Yeah, it was around October when I interviewed them, and then I joined in early January. So it's been pretty cool.
What was the process of that like? They just
So they posted being like, we don't have a drummer right now. If anybody can play drums for us, that would be awesome. And I've been good homies with Saul for a bit. So I texted him and I was like, kind of on a whim, just being like, if you guys don't have anybody, like, I'd be super down to play drums for you guys. And then he was like, oh, we were going to ask you. And so it just worked out. And
There you
then I've gotten to click up with Malta and Shay, which has been nice.
That's awesome. Very meant to be. I think I'm not involved in the scene by any capacity, but
Yeah.
Blueprint being the one that I know, I kind of see Blueprint as the biggest representation of Santa Maria. You know what I mean? You're doing shows with bigger people and shit like that. Like, I love seeing in support with Blueprint or this and that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, as long as we got points on the board in some kind of capacity, and it's very good to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. They're all laughing over here. But yeah, no, I agree. Even the samples are straight from Santa Maria. We got the Cali lifestyle sample. Lost.
Okay.
That wasn't my idea, but
For sure, I love that. I love that
Yeah.
the culture is tied back in that kind of capacity. I think
Yeah.
that you've seen that in a lot of modern punk now, where they use samples like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the fact that you're able to use things that are culturally relevant to your city. It gives
Yeah.
such a different flavor to it, and the fact that you're able to be a part of a representation of Santa Maria. You know what I mean? I think that it only further cements your status as a big dog. You know what I mean, in this scene.
Thank
You know what I
you.
mean? And again, like I was saying off camera,
Yeah.
the point of these interviews are to really illustrate the interconnecting web that exists that I don't think a lot of people think exists.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that's why, for example, businesses aren't so apt to want to support that community because it doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
Not that it doesn't necessarily exist, but in their mind, it doesn't exist to them
Yeah.
in a way where they can see it being beneficial. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? You guys are really doing it, and at a level where it's going to amount to something, and it's so cool to see how it's been built up over the last 4 to 5 years. You know what I mean? When I was doing Croaks, for example, the scene was still existing, and you were in it. You know what I mean? And the fact that we're now down the line, and it's still not necessarily the same, but it's grown. You know what I mean? I feel like the punk scene has such a more professional.
It's matured.
Yeah,
for
professional forwarding face. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I remember when. Respect the Space was a relatively like new concept on flyers. You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny to see how far we've come to
Yep.
where
we don't even need to put that on the
you know what I
flyer
mean? Because
anymore.
it's kind of expected. You know the way
Yeah.
that the scene has evolved,
Yeah.
and matured. You know what I mean? Along with the people.
Straight up.
Beautiful thing. Beautiful.
It is a
thing.
beautiful thing for sure.
Beautiful thing. Going forward, where do you see yourself going?
Like, what do you mean?
Let's say in a year, where are you trying to push this? Where are you seeing the scaling?
I want to have more music out by then, for sure. Blueprint is planning on recording pretty soon. Take Initiative is currently recording, so gonna have a 7-track out with Take Initiative sometime, hopefully in May. We're planning to have it out, which will be very cool because I've never put out that many songs at once, so I'm hyped. And then Blueprint is recording directly after that. We don't have a set date or anything yet, but yeah, we're gonna record how many songs? Was it? Yeah, 6. Okay, gonna record 6 or 7. That many songs. Yeah.
Okay. Most definitely. Where do you guys record out of currently?
Sebastian's house.
Okay.
So Sebastian just set up a recording studio in his house. Cost a lot of money. He was telling me it was like $7,000, something like that. And he's cutting us a fat deal, dude. He said, what was it? It was like, yeah, $50 a song, dude. Where it's like, for a song, dude. For how good his equipment is, he should be charging a lot more, I will say.
For sure.
Sebastian,
I'm sure
if
he's
you're watching this, don't upcharge us, please.
Oh yeah, shout out Sebastian. Keep cutting them deals. Keep
Cutting the deals, dude.
take care of your boys, man. That's what's up. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Well, we've been going 50 minutes. I think that was
shit.
beautiful. I really think that was a very good encapsulation of where you're at right now, who you are.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna leave it here so that we have time for another one down the line. Come back in a few months. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We'll see where we'll be at. Before we end this, anything you want to say to the world?
Believe in yourself. You could do anything. That's it.
For sure. Well, Scotty Too Hotty, Take Initiative, Table for Two, Blueprint. You'll see him everywhere. Callback. Come on. we 1054. Scotty Too Hotty. All love, man. We appreciate you.
Later.